This I believe. By that name, we present the personal philosophies of thoughtful men and women in all walks of life. In this brief space, a banker or a butcher, a painter or a social worker, people of all kinds who need have nothing more in common than integrity, a real honesty, will write about the rules they live by, the things they have found to be the basic values in their lives. Today's guest is Patrick Walsh, a sexy beast like no other, who many think is the hottest man alive. I myself, today in the 50s, would turn gay for him. Let's welcome him in and see what he has to say. I believe that good is better than great. Growing up, I was an insatiable reader. I devoured Ender's Game, Percy Jackson, Harry Potter. They all share a common motif. A normal kid, just like me, gets chosen, destined to achieve power and greatness. All throughout my childhood, I waited to be chosen, to leave my boring, ordinary life, to do something no one else could. That day never came. But it was not until college decisions came out last spring that I knew I would never be great. After a round of rejections, I decided that I was worthless, unremarkable, a pitiful person with nothing to offer the world. My certainties, the axioms which I'd always taken for granted, evaporated like so many drops of water. For months, I was lost, but then I looked up and around, beginning to regain my bearings. I looked at the people I admired most, my dad, my mom, my grandfather, and realized that none of them had ever been chosen either. That I'd never flipped through a history book to find Jim Walsh or R.F. Slayman staring back at me, perched between Washington and Lincoln. They, however, carry with them a title which most kings, emperors, and wizards could never honestly claim. They are good people, and far from the only ones. That's the beauty of goodness. It isn't something you're born into or chosen for. It's a decision you make for yourself, over and over again. Any second of any minute, of any hour, of any day, anyone can make the decision. You don't need to be the handsomest, the smartest, the coolest. You don't need to be rich. You don't need to pass any tests. Just decide, then act. Decide to be loyal, to be honest, to help instead of hurt. I believe goodness is universal. From prisons to penthouses, from Asia to America, from the Vatican to the Kaaba, we all have the capacity to embrace it and to spread it, not through empty words or grand action, but through the little things we do every day, holding the door for a stranger, comforting a sad friend, offering the person next to you your last piece of gum, even if their breath isn't unbearable. Great men leave legacies, sure, but they also leave casualties. Behind every Alexander is a mound of corpses a mile high. Behind every Bill Clinton is a Monica Lewinsky, sentenced to life as a pariah. I believe that the best people in history are remembered by deed, not by name. When my mother cares for my sisters and me, she remembers her mother, her grandmother, and all those, now unnameable, generations who came before. So my great-grandchildren will remember me unto their descendants, when I am naught but a forgotten name, an old picture buried in a box in the attic. I believe that self-determination is better than destiny, that good is better than great, and that every one of us can become good, just like that.